Welcome back, fellow aviators. My name's Matt Farrell and I'm the Flying Salesman. I'm joined today with Philip from Jetstream Aviation Products and Cody from Jetstream Aviation Products, and these guys are going to teach all of us the right way to wash an airplane. When it comes to your products, where's the best place to start? If you've got an airplane, it's got some dirt on it, maybe a lot of dirt, where do we start?
Okay, so one of the first things that you want to do, the Jetstream product line is all laid out in systems. So what we have here, where I'd recommend that you start, or any customer of yours starts, would be with the wet wash system. We've got 3 products for that: neutral pH wash soaps and 2 degreasers, one being a gel. That's where we would start first, to wash your complete airplane with water, wash brushes and poles to completely wash down the airplane, and then we could go on from there to the other cleaning aspects of it.
Why would I use Ivory soap?
It's way too strong.
Way too strong?
Yeah, they're way too strong. So soaps like Ivory soap, Dawn detergent, those have way high pH factors.
Okay.
These don't. These are super safe. You could take a bath in them. Totally safe for your airplane. So my recommendation would be to start there with a complete wet wash, and you don't have to do it every time you fly. But what we would recommend that you do is you wet wash your airplane and degrease it at least once a quarter.
Okay.
Now, that depends on where you live in the country, too. If you're flying and you're sitting in New York on a ramp, and then you have your plane de-iced, you're obviously going to want to get that washed before you leave. Then you're going to want to wash it again when you get home.
Right.
So there are factors, summer, winter, fall, that changes things.
Bugs.
Yeah. So and you bring up a great point, Cody. I live in Louisiana, and our mosquitoes in Louisiana are about the size of turkeys. So I think that's a great point, is for me, because I fly my airplane weekly, then we will be using your products on a more regular basis to keep the aircraft clean and keep it maintained.
It's a lot easier to wet wash an airplane when it's loaded down with bugs compared to dry washing.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Now, you've got some different parts of the wet wash system. Real quick, explain to me the difference between the Hydrosolve, the Ultra Magnum, and the safety wash.
Okay, so where
would I use each one?
All right, so what we would want you to do, this is your general all-over aircraft wash soap.
Okay.
So for any plane in this hangar,
The safety wash.
any plane in this hangar, you're going to want to use the safety wash first. You can put it in a pump sprayer. You can dilute it 9-to-1. You can put it in a 5-gallon wash bucket if you choose to get a lot of suds.
With 1 cup of soap in it.
Yeah. The Magnum is a water-based degreaser meant to cut carbon, oil, some hydraulic fluid, mainly bugs. So on
Bugs and carbon.
Yeah, so on your 210 flying in today, picking up a lot of bugs, this is what we would put in a pump sprayer, dilute it 9-to-1, and then we would spray that on the leading edges of your boot and on the front of the cowling to loosen up the bugs, make them soft, so when we come around with the wash soap to wash it, it's going to come right off. Okay?
So the Ultra Magnum is for the Magnum mosquitoes.
No doubt.
There we go.
Yeah,
I can remember that.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So the third part of the system that we have, the Hydrosolve, this is a gel degreaser. In our opinion, it's the best degreaser in aviation. The best part about this is, even diluted at 9-to-1, this product can be put in any type of a pump sprayer, and anything that you spray it on, it's going to stick and cling to the surface.
Yeah.
It's going to stick to your belly, and when you're down there washing, it's available to you to keep going. That's the best part about this. So they have 2 different purposes.
This will dry kind of fast.
Okay.
And then you got to re-wet it and re-agitate it. Where this one, it'll be waiting for you, and it'll be ready to rinse after you agitate it with the brush.
I see.
Yeah.
Now, I have had opportunity to use some of these on my own, and I've noticed that the Hydrosolve does a really good job at just about everything. Can I use it instead of the safety wash?
No, I don't recommend that at all. So
So I messed up?
Well, you kind of did. So it does work so good, and a lot of people we tell our customers on the telephone every day, this works so good, don't get married to it. This is your safe, neutral product right here that you want to do your
This
overall
product
washing with.
strips wax off the aircraft.
Okay.
This one's neutral pH. It won't strip the wax. It's not going to, your polished leading edges, it's not going to cloud up and water spot. So that's why you want to use this as much as possible and use these where necessary. And don't let them dry. Use them, agitate them, and rinse them, and then go back to this.
So, what we're talking about is really a maintenance system for the paint of the aircraft.
Absolutely.
You know, I did some research in preparation for this, and a Cessna 210 like ours, a paint job can be as much as $30,000. And that puts that as the second most expensive component of our airframe behind the engine.
Right.
So from what you're describing to me, it really makes sense to have a stepped and measured system for maintaining the paint on the aircraft.
It's like oil for the engine.
Like oil for the engine.
Yeah.
So I've washed this, let's say on a Saturday afternoon, I've come out to the airport and I've given it a wet wash, and what's my next step? Where do I go from there, and how do I maintain the work that I've just put in?
Okay, so once you understand how to use these three on your plane and you do it often, the other systems we have here to clean would be our dry wash system. Here we have a paint polishing system, we have a metal polishing system, and then over here we have paint sealers. Okay, so this whole process right here, from stripping your de-ice boots and keeping those refurbished and clean, going to the interior and the exterior of the product with some of these dry wash products can be used both places.
Interior or exterior.
Yeah, so you can use any of these systems inside and out. That's what's going to give you your maintenance. Now, I will say this, when it comes to the paint polish system, you're going to either have to do it yourself or hire a service, because you're going to have to buff the oxidation off of your airplane.
Right?
Okay, that's the first step, because when you do, you want to come back with a product like our liquid diamond. You want to come back with a machine and you want to buff that into the paint for longevity and protection. And we have customers that have had planes with de-ice boots and paint on them for 10 and 12, 15 years, that they still look like they're brand new airplanes when they clean them.
Even King Airs.
So
Yeah.
you bring up an interesting point. Aircraft that have been maintained with a system for 10 or 15 years. What about an airplane where the paint hasn't been maintained with a system like this? Where do these products come into play, and what can you or your products do for those operators and those airplanes?
Okay, so what they'll see, the first thing that they should do is go out and do a wet wash.
Yes, sir.
So once they do that and go around the whole airplane, they're going to realize the oxidation that's taken place on the surfaces of the airplane, plexiglass included. At that point, though, that's when they have to understand that these systems that we sell, from the dry wash products to the paint sealers, that's what they're going to need to get the education on those viewers to understand how to apply that to their airplane, which, by the way, is simple and fast, and it's a common maintenance thing. The Jetstream leather cleaner and conditioner, also handmade, incredible cleaning product. It's a really good conditioner. The real trick to that, instead of just putting it on your seats and wiping it on your seats and leaving it to sit, and then your customer comes in and it's all greasy, you don't want to do that. You want to apply it with this applicator right here. The best way to do it is just put it on that applicator, put it all over your leather seat, then you want to come back with that microfiber applicator and buff it off. And that'll get that sheen on that leather that you're looking for, and it does clean. It's a really good cleaner. But I would recommend before you do that, you clean your leather seats with power foam first, and then you come back with this to seal it, to treat it.
Well, Phil, it looks like you've covered every part of my airframe that's painted. One of the things that you and I talked about when I taxied in is the spinner on my airplane.
Okay.
I've always wanted that diamond look and see yourself polished in the spinner look.
Okay.
How can I do that with your product?
So we're going to use the Sky Metal polish right here with a machine.
Okay.
Okay,
so
we don't recommend you do it by hand.
Okay.
You can, way too much work. You don't want to be out in the hangar that long.
Does Jetstream offer any product literature or any guidance on how to use those products?
Yes.
Where would my viewers go to find that
Yeah,
information?
so at jetstreamproducts.com, we do have videos on our tabs for all of our systems. You can go there. There's a good video there on how to strip de-ice boots. We'll show you how to put the prep on, how to strip it off by hand, how to apply the boot sealant to make them look like they're brand new, high gloss. Same thing for all of these systems. We've got short videos on our page that you can go click on and you can watch the application method. The best part is we've done this for 40 years together. All right, so being in business for 40 years together, me and him, if you call us, we can aid you even further beyond the video.
I've crawled underneath my airplane on a creeper and rolled around there. Are there any special tools that you guys have developed that makes that a lot easier for a guy like me that doesn't like getting down on the floor?
Do you want that one?
Yeah, absolutely. For example, the wash brush, it's a 14-inch wash brush. Well, if you're using a 10-inch wash brush on a 747 or a Gulf Spring, you can get a lot of sore shoulders and tight muscles because you got thousands of strokes on those airplanes. And the parts brush for cleaning the gears, we want to use the right parts brush. We've got a strut brush and a parts brush for doing the brakes and the wheels and all the assembly of that, and the flap wells and the gear wells. So
This is interesting to me. This is something that has definitely not been in my wash kit, and I'm curious that it seems to me that this may do away with ladders. It could also help with scrubbing underneath. So I really think that this is an integral part of the entire system.
Yes.
And from what I've seen and little I've seen of it, it's really an important piece. Why do you guys think that you're the go-to source and you really know these products in and out?
All right.
we've cleaned 50,000 airplanes.
How many airplanes?
50,000.
50,000 airplanes.
About 35 years it took us to do that. In the last 10 years, we've been busy selling the products we developed through doing all those aircraft.
You developed these products?
We did with a chemist.
This is not commercial off-the-shelf
No.
chemistry that someone can go and buy.
Absolutely not.
So-
we would go out there and we'd clean 7 to 10 planes a day.
7 to 10.
Yes, 5 days a week. And we'd go out there and we'd put these products, they'd have to get the job done because if the plane doesn't look right, we're not going to be able to invoice it.
The last thing, real quick, when we started in 1981, we were a mobile aircraft detailing company at Addison Airport in Texas. The only chemicals we had to clean airplanes back then was baking soda and things that we bought at a janitorial supply house. And they were horrible. And we did a lot of mixing at night to come up with things. That period of doing that ended up creating all of this.
Absolutely.
It's all here. Everything you see here will clean any airplane from a 152 to a 747, and we've done them both.
Well, guys, I really appreciate y'all allowing me to come over. The product demonstrations and the detail that you guys have gone into with these products have really given me a lot of tools in my tool bag as a salesman to be able to represent your product and your company well. The history that you guys have, 50,000 airplanes, 40 years of being in this business, developing the chemistry yourselves through trial and error, it's just a fantastic story. And that's what I love about aviation. I love the stories, and it doesn't have to be pilot, mechanics flying and that sort of things. It's people like us that love their business, that love aviation, and just enjoy being the niche we're in. So I can't thank you enough.
Yes,
Philip,
you're welcome.
thanks for allowing me
You're
to come by.
welcome. Anytime.
Cody, it's
Yes,
certainly
sir.
been a pleasure.
Enjoyed
Being here. We're going to wrap things up, jump back in the 210 and head back home, and then we'll see you guys on the next one.